Ridiculous storylines that lasted a month in this season was Cooper Rush should be the starting quarterback in Dallas. When you think, that's no disrespect to Cooper, but the Dak Prescott reemergence and then resurgence of the Cowboys offense has got Michael Irvin singing praises.
Yes, sir. I want you to understand how much God has blessed us here. Cowboys reach down deep inside themselves and pour down the very best of themselves.
Hey, that's who we are right there. Hey, let's make a play.
Parsons has him.
And you know, yes, we can, because I did it before, and we can do it again. Let's go! Let's go, folks.
Fun stuff. Fun stuff. Welcome to NFL Game Day Morning, presented by Lowe's. Let's tackle home together. By the way, the Cowboys and Eagles don't face each other next week. It's a Christmas weekend contest that we will find under all of our football trees. Nate Burleson joining all of us here on NFL Game Day Morning to start this whole second of 4 hours, taking you to 7 kickoffs of Week 14 edition of our program. So I got to tell you this, Michael, and I always shoot you and everybody straight. We've done this show together about 11 years, I think, and I have to tell you, this is the first time where I really believe your belief in the Cowboys is well-founded. I'm not lying. That's not a shot or anything. There have just been teams that I always thought that were head and shoulders better than them, or I wasn't believing their ability to make a deep playoff run, that they might not have had one side of the football complementary to the other. It really does appear right now that they have a long playoff run in them leading to this topic bar. Do you have any concerns about the Cowboys in the playoffs once toe meets ball and winner go home time? Michael.
Well, Rich, I thought I didn't, Rich, but you just so reminded me that I've been wrong for 12 years in your little way that you like reminding people.
We've only been doing this for 12. We've been wrong for about 25.
I know y'all see what I'm saying. I have not been wrong. These teams, they just never brought it all together. I could see it all within them. I could see the offense had this and the defense had that, but they never brought it all together. One year, Diggs will have all these interceptions, but then we don't get it right on offense. This year, it has all commingled.
Yes.
It has all commingled. Now, we're asking this question, what concerns me? We just talked about it. You said it so great. You saw, how does this league work? How can Joe Burrow be 3-0 against Kansas City and 0-4 against Cleveland? Well, because matchups. That's what scares you, are the matchups. Certain matchups, they worry you. And every team that's in the playoffs right now, matchup worries me, because they all have a running game. San Fran can run, Philly can run, Minnesota can run, and we know that's been the problem sometimes for the Dallas Cowboys. So yes, that's the thing that concerns me. But if Dak Prescott keeps dropping 38 points a game, 38 points a game, and then you go get Tyron back, Smith, who's coming back, and then we go to move to 40 points a game, and that sweat rolls off my back, and I worry no longer. You see what I'm saying? Then I say there are no concerns. I see you in Arizona, buddy. Get ready.
You're a seer.
I'm a seer.
All right.
And those guys just finally brought it all together, Nate. That's all I was saying, Nate. I always saw it, but they just didn't see it. I helped them see it, and now they got it.
Yeah, listen, Irv, you're right. They brought it all together. They got the quarterback, wide receivers, running backs, defense, coaching staff. Seems like this is the year that reminds us of those dominant years when you were a Cowboy. But here's the thing. For me, it isn't about a specific concern on the field. It's about these Cowboys. Like, do they dance their way through the season, kind of like you out there dancing? And do they get to the playoffs and then collapse? We've seen that happen before, Irv. They're good on paper. They are paper champs. But here's the thing. Do you remember in 2006 when they had a really good Cowboys team, and in that wild card game, they lost to the Seahawks? You remember that, Irv? I don't want to bring up no bad time. And here's the thing. We are here to talk football. I'm not here to take shots at your team.
That's your CBS teammate. That's your CBS
Let's keep this
teammate.
thing going. Let's keep this thing in 07, divisional round.
Oh.
They lost to the Giants. In 2014, in the divisional round, they lost to the Packers. In 2016, in the divisional round, they lost to the Packers again. And then in 2021, wild card game, they lost to the 49ers. Irv, this isn't me taking a shot. And for everybody in Dallas, don't sit here and say, oh, Nate, you're hating on us. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is I have so much faith in this Cowboys team. My biggest fear is that they dominate in the regular season, and then they get to the postseason, and all of a sudden, they are a shell of themselves. That's my biggest concern for this team.
By the way, that's just not right off the top of Nate. That's not right off the top of your head. That clearly is thought out, planned out.
That cooked down in his gut for a while.
With video to support statements.
Right. That's been cooking in his gut.
And that's speaking into existence and truth right there.
I got it. I wanted to come prepared. I wanted to come prepared.
You wrote it down because you are a professional. You are a professional.
It's just reminding Irv that he's been wrong for 20-some years, and he's just pointing out all those different times that you've been wrong. We appreciate that, Nate. You know, here's the thing with the Cowboys is that, you know, we look at them on paper, and what I love when it comes to playoff time is I love teams that can win multiple different ways, and this is a team that can win multiple different ways. My biggest concern is I just want to see Dak Prescott be a little more consistent in what I believe makes him special, and that's the ability to push the ball down the field. In weeks 8 through 11, after he come back from the injury, he was 6 for 7 on big throws down the field, and that to me was where we had this question about Cooper Rush, and I'm like, no, that's where Dak Prescott is different. The last 2 weeks, he's only been 1 for 7. So we've seen some inconsistencies with the decision-making and the big throws down the field. If Dak gets consistent with the big throws, with this defense, with this run game, with this balance, I don't have any concerns, but I want to see him become more consistent these last 5 games of the season.
I don't have any concerns either. Is it either or either, Rich?
I think either works.
This team, I believe, is the best team they've had since the dynasty teams. They are third and scoring offense, third and scoring defense. You know how hard that is to do, and it would have been way better than that had Dak played the whole time. You mentioned almost 38 points a game since he's been back. It's crazy, way better than everybody else. They're great on third down conversions. If they get ahead, they have a defense that'll sack you with the best of them. This is a heck of a team. It's a matter of how do you play in the playoffs on any given Sunday? Can you stop the 49ers if you have to travel up to Levi Stadium?
And that is exactly what Nate was talking about, if I'm not mistaken, right, Nate? I mean, that's what you were talking about. That's why he's got the Emmy for being an analyst. He plans this stuff out. And that's how we then transitioned to the team that was last on Nate's video list. If you're looking for a wild storyline in this can't make this stuff up league, search no further than the 49er quarterback room. Just when you thought Trey Lance taking the reins meant that the end of the Jimmy G era in San Francisco is upon us, the team re-signed Garoppolo in part because it was far too risky to enter the season with the last pick in this year's draft as the backup to the 3rd overall pick of the previous year's draft. But sure enough, look who enters Week 14 as the starter with all the team's Super Bowl hopes placed upon him. Brock Purdy, suddenly the most relevant Mr. Irrelevant in NFL history.